Today on the Toppy Show, Tim Walz is fact-checked by CNN, while Trump McDonald's shift goes viral all week. Laura Loomer is suing Bill Maher for the Trump affair accusation. Delta asks a Marine wearing a suicide awareness shirt to leave. Journalist is arrested for filming a quote-unquote all-ages drag show in, unfortunately, Texas. Mark Cuban said he's open to joining Trump after years of bashing him. Walmart and Amazon to deliver pharmaceuticals. Verizon misses their revenue goal. And the WNBA, well, the players want a new contract despite still never making a profit. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guys, he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, we're giving away a free Flamethrower with every IT purchase. Go to toppingtechnologies.com to learn more. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Walmart and Amazon to start delivering pharmaceuticals as Walgreens and CVS somehow struggle to exist. Oh no, it's not really somehow they struggle to exist. It actually makes a lot of sense. I don't know the last time you've been there, but for me, probably been a couple decades. Now, specifically, they say, quote, Walmart, Amazon threaten U.S. drugstores. Walmart and Amazon prescription delivery service pose a threat to U.S. drugstores, all 18 that remain. Well, I made up that last part. But seriously, they say, quote, Amazon and Walmart to expand their business to prescription delivery services, directly competing against traditional U.S. drugstores like CVS and Walgreens. Walmart launched same-day prescription delivery in 6 states and plans to expand to 49 states by January 2025. Amazon, meanwhile, has announced plans to open pharmacies in 20 U.S. cities in 2025, offering same-day delivery of prescription medications. Now, they also say that Walmart has same-day delivery in 6 states, currently Arkansas, Missouri, New York, Nevada, South Carolina, and Wisconsin. And they say customers can bundle prescriptions with other items, such as groceries, for a delivery fee of $9.95, or free with Walmart Plus membership, which, I mean, I'm sure someone has Walmart Plus membership. I've never met them in real life, but I'm sure they're out there. Now, of course, Walmart has the biggest advantage because they got, 4,600 locations in the U.S. right now. And it seems like darn near every one of them already has prescription, so kind of just a matter of building it out to expand to actually deliver it. But yeah, definitely, I don't say a nail in the coffin for traditional drugstores, pharmaceutical stores, but definitely is kneecapping them because, again, I mean, Walmart has basically unlimited capabilities. They have unlimited purchasing power in terms of buying bulk items for a discount. And I mean, how much has Walgreens stock crashed in the past 5 years? I think 88%. Like, what was it? Last time I checked, it was like $10 per share for Walgreens. And CVS isn't doing that much better. They're both, the past couple of years, have been announcing more and more store locations. And in terms of competitive advantage, I can't but notice when every time I'm driving in the morning, the Walgreens is always closed while the CVS is open, which you debate how much business there is to have, at 4, 5, 6 in the morning. But yeah, can't make sales when you're not open, Walgreens. But I really wonder, at the end of the day, does the consumer really care? We see more and more people delivering things, not just the traditional things you buy off the Amazon, like books and whey protein. Well, at least for me. But you also have folks having their groceries delivered, and why not just bundle one more thing, especially with Amazon pricing? I don't think it should be too much of a surprise. And granted, none of this is financial advice, but not too surprised. Walmart stock is like $82 per share right now. I think it's up 100% in the past 5 years, and in the past year it's nearly doubled or something like that. Ridiculously good. It makes more sense. They continue to find ways to add new value to their current clients. Same with Amazon, though. Again, right now Walmart does have the advantage of their stores, which are, at a certain point, they're just going to be glorified distribution centers in the future, I believe. But let me know in the comments. Do you think this will be the final nail in the coffin for the traditional drugstores? And again, not that there's anything bad about that, but when was the last time you actually went to a Walgreens or to a CVS? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Verizon missing their revenue goal as sales continue to struggle. Perhaps they need to bring back the big-eared guy from the 90s where they have, what was the old saying they used to have at Verizon? Where you at? No, wait, that's Boost Mobile. What did Verizon have? A marketing campaign so ineffective, I don't remember. I know AT&T has the AT&T girl. T-Mobile had the girl from Cheers, that sitcom, a great sitcom from back in the day. What is Verizon known for? I just remember there's a comical guy who had big ears on the commercials. Terrible marketing, Verizon. I barely remember it at all. Yeah, it lives me at the moment. Let me know in the comments if you remember who I'm actually talking about. Now, not great news again, because sales, well, worst thing you can do for Wall Street is miss your sales expectations. Well, geez, really any sales role in general. Well, this comes to us thanks to Yahoo Finance, the OG search engine from way back in the day when they were actually bigger, more powerful, and successful than Google, which, fun business story for another time, perhaps. Now, they say specifically, quote, rising revenue misses estimates on slow phone upgrade cycle, which, don't get me started on how unnecessary it is to upgrade a phone. I just have the OG Samsung S10 still running strong, mostly. It's hard for me to fathom some people have so much disposable income where they get a new phone every 6 months or every year. They can have a slightly better camera or slightly better pixels put on the screen. Ironically, I do work in tech, but it's more data center, cybersecurity on a larger business scale, but partially digress. Now I say, quote, Verizon Communications reported third quarter revenue that missed analyst expectations, weighed down by lackluster sale of hardware of new mobile phones, which, again, with Apple, great company, don't get me wrong, but wow, the new iPhone is slightly thinner and slightly better camera and slightly better screen. At a certain point, I think it's after 4K resolution, the human eye can't tell anymore, and it's just bragging rights. Then I say, quote, the company reported a net gain of 239 monthly phone subscribers, beating analysts' projections of 222,000, but total revenue was essentially flat from a year earlier at 33.3 billion, slightly under analysts' expectations of 33.4 billion, as the service revenue and growth offsets the handhelds decline in sales for them lately. On the second consecutive quarter, the lower equipment revenue overshadowed other gains. The stock dipped 4.1% earlier this week. I also had Bloomberg intelligence analyst saying, quote, the downturn in equipment sales is tied to a lack of compelling new hardware features on the smartphone market, leading to a marked reduction in switch and lower churn, which, again, in the U.S., don't get me wrong, I like the boutique phone manufacturers, but realistically, you have Apple and Samsung. And again, they make their phones a little bit better every year, but, I mean, it really is diminishing returns, very similar to television sets. It's one of those things where, I mean, going from plasma to LCD to OLED, I mean, OLED is huge. And getting to 4K, that's great. They're so desperate for sales. A couple years ago, they tried curved TVs for New York Minute. 18 people bought them. But, I mean, it's just, I mean, we went for the tube TV all the way to this. I mean, cell phones, TVs, the amount of innovation year over year is just diminishing it. They're trying to cram new features in there to get people to buy, but people aren't biting. Especially, I mean, right now, we have unprecedented political and economical uncertainty. I know I say a lot, but shoot, it's true. You also have 40-year hyperinflation. Now, they continue to say, quote, telecom executives, including Verizon Chief Executive Officer Hans Vestager, have said they didn't expect Apple Inc.'s latest iPhones, which came out in September, to spur a significant upgrade cycle. Apple's iPhone 16 offers only slightly modest hardware upgrades, and its advanced artificial intelligence technology will only be gradually added to the device via incremental software updates. Vestager said that it's still unclear whether the promises of AI capabilities in the new iPhone will convince people to upgrade. Yeah, I'm skeptical too. Historically, consumers have been persuaded to trade in their devices by hardware redesigns or significant network evolution, such as 5G. Vestager also said, is it the software side going to do that? It's too early for us to say, so we haven't seen much in creating the cycle. Now, they also know that consumers used to upgrade every 12 months. Geez, they working at Ritz-Carlton? Every 12 months? Now, this sounds more accurate. Well, anecdotally, that's kind of what my perspective is, but they say, but now they're keeping their phones as long as 40 months, which, unfortunately, they're not, this might just be Verizon's data. They're not giving us the actual sample size on these averages, but yeah, that's pretty dramatic in terms of people making things last longer. Going from replacing it once a year, 12 months, to nearly every 4 years. Or, I'm rounding up a little bit to get to 40 months, but yeah, more likely close to 3.5, but still. Now, they also say that a pool of new potential wireless customers tightens. New York-based Verizon has been offering customizable mobile and broadband plans through a series of perks on savings and streaming services such as Netflix and Max, which worst marketing in all history. Instead of HBO or HBO Max, they called it Max, which 18 people recognize and care about. They were started as HBO, and that's how most people know them. But yeah, terrible marketing decisions isn't the first thing they've done. Now, they continue to say that, quote, the company has also pushed and fixed wireless product, which delivers high-speed internet over airwaves rather than going through lines at home. Vestager said that convergence of plans and products will attract customers and leads to lower churn or customers leaving for rivals, which, again, this is a fancy way of saying bundling more and more things, which all the major telecom providers do. Now, they also say that Verizon added 389,000 total broadband subscribers in the third quarter and increased its fixed wireless subscriber base by 363,000 customers. It brings in a total of fixed wireless nearly 4.2 million subscribers, hitting the company's own target 15 months ahead of schedule. So that's great. But overall, still not phenomenal news for Verizon as they continue to struggle. And I mean, 500-pound gorilla traditionally used to be really AT&T, based in the great country, or some might argue the great state of TXS. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm not sure what new phone innovation will get for people to actually buy it. I mean, kind of traditional. There's some parallels to GameStop, in terms of you look at how they make a lot of money. It's used video games, people trading in for new consoles. Well, a lot of these phone stores like that, they had incentives to bring your old phone or give a new phone. They'd sell the old phone for a pretty good profit to the secondhand market or that whole other retail establishment. So, not great news for Verizon. Granted, gotta say that, of course, not financial advice. And it'll be interesting to see what happens to Q4 when, again, traditionally speaking, a lot of companies have a big increase in revenue Q4. That's where, I mean, the traditional Back in Black, well, not just AC/DC song, but Black Friday when you actually get into the black part of the ledger where you're profitable. So maybe the sales will pop next quarter, but let me know, do you think Verizon's going to knock it out of the park Q4? Do you think they'll continue to be moderately slow or steady? Or might they dip a little bit? Let me know in the comments because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the Culture Pride podcast, you have Delta allegedly removes a Marine for wearing a suicide awareness shirt, which, you had another reason to drive somewhere. Life's infinitely more fun when you're working with three pedals anyway and rolling the gears, but I partially digress. This comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, in which she says, quote, a Marine Corps veteran had allegedly been removed from the plane and forced to change clothing by Delta because she was wearing a shirt that brought awareness to veteran suicide. How is this? Is this how veterans are treated at Delta? Which, let's be honest, this is the same airline company that beat the, well, rudimentary said, they beat the crap out of a doctor because he wouldn't give up his seat to one of the airline employees. And the doctor's actually flying to for humanitarian work. They've never had the best PR at Delta. But it's also kind of a little monopoly in terms of, how many companies can bid on these flight paths and now they're locked in. So there are some instances where you have no choice at all thanks to the ineptitudes or corruption of the US government. Or maybe little column A, little column B. Now, the actual t-shirt, when you pull it up here, and it says, in white font, it says, do not give into, then the red font is the war within, then back to white font, end veteran suicide. So again, the t-shirt says, do not give in to the war within, end veteran suicide. Which, of all the t-shirts I've heard of people being abrasive or bombastic, this certainly isn't the one. I mean, granted, maybe that's why this video will get demonetized, will get deranked on the YouTube. Again, watching Rumble, it's infinitely better experience, and they don't take down my videos left and right. But is it just because it says the word suicide? Which the rumor is, if you say that on the YouTube, your video's blacklisted or whatever. But maybe that's why Delta thought it was, offensive. But at the end of the day, again, it's also a t-shirt. Who cares? Granted, I would also say that people should suit up for flights like they used back in the day. But I'm an outlier. I know most people do not want to actually suit up for those types of experiences. Here you can see, unfortunately, I don't know her name, but you can see a picture of the veteran. And Libs TikTok did tag Delta on the social media. We'll see if they actually respond, or shoot, by the time the video is rendered and uploaded, maybe they did. I'll should follow Delta, see what they're up to. I'll give them a follow. Another friendly reminder to follow hashtag The Topping Show on the X. Let's see. Actually, going down there. Looks like it was actually an article linked to the New York Post. They say the Marine Corps said, just shook my soul away when they were asked for comment. Looks like they say Catherine Banks is a 22-year-old veteran of the Marines, was on board a Delta flight at, of course, San Francisco International Airport to visit family October 16th, when she wore a dark gray outfit and sat in her extra legroom seat, in which she paid extra. Let's see here. They say a male flight attendant approached Banks and was confused when he tried to get her attention. Said, "Ma'am, I was looking around." She asked, who's he talking to? He said, "You need to get off the plane." And she's like, "What did I do?" And he said, "The shirt you're wearing is threatening." And she said, "Are you kidding me?" Which, it's also San Francisco. They're not exactly known for their masculinity or intellect or emotional intelligence. So yeah, I'm not surprised some, let's be honest, probably a beta male was like, "Oh, it's a threatening t-shirt." What? Raising suicide awareness for veterans? Ridiculous. She said, quote, "I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm going to see Marine Fit Sister. I've been in the Marine Corps for 22 years, and I worked for the Air Force for 15 years, so I'm going to go visit her." And I say that Banks' military background did not faze the flight attendant, who issued her the ultimatum to get off the plane. He said, "I don't care about your..." Well, of course, they would say this. I don't care. He says, I don't care about your service. I don't care about her service. The only way we're going to get back on the plane is if you take it off right now. Banks, who was braless underneath that shirt, told the flight attendant to turn around so she could remove the seemingly polarizing shirt and replace it with a sweatshirt. The t-shirt is sold by Till Vahaya Project, part of a 22-day collection, which brings awareness to the estimated 22 veterans who commit suicide each day. Add insult to injury, Delta, which they're known to do for. Not only do they take off the shirt, but it's actually a shirt that actually raises money awareness. It's actually part of, most likely, a nonprofit to raise awareness over that. Which, of course, Delta would do that. Jeez. Now, let's go to the comments. Maybe I'm alone in this assessment, or maybe... Let's go down here. One of the first comments comes from Thick Eggshelled. Say, quote, I'm sure if it was an LGBTQ suicide awareness shirt, they would have given her first class. Getting 170 likes, which, well, it is San Francisco, and I mean, most businesses do cater to that. Yeah, it's not their own possibility, especially these days. Paul Zupa says, quote, Delta and most airlines have turned DEI woke monstrosities. The FAA is woke also. Why would anyone want to fly anywhere anymore? Getting 220 likes. Good question. Why the hell would anyone want to fly in 2024? I mean, shoot, I would rather drive, and I actually do drive usually a couple times, depending on the calendar, customer meetings or family events. Shoot, I would much rather drive 13 hours in my little Honda Civic with a stick shift than go to an airport, what is it, 2 to 3 hours, 1 to 2 hours early, get crammed into the airplane, fly, then land, deal with all that. And then, of course, you can't properly protect yourselves in those situations. And also, yeah, you may or may not have your stuff stolen by the TSA. Yeah, pretty much would like to drive in nearly every conceivable situation. I would rather drive somewhere than take an airplane. Even if I had to drive from New York to California, I think that'd be more fun. Well, especially if it's the right car. But I partially digress. Planet of Memes did not, in fact, respond to meme form, but nevertheless is alleged at Planet of Memes. Say, quote, this is ridiculous. There's no need for this. Getting 207 likes. Well, perhaps the need is for Delta to send a message they don't want veterans flying on their planes. And again, depending on what flight path you want to go on, they might be the only choice. The Independent American says this is disgraceful. Delta, ever hear of Bud Light? Me neither. Getting 186 likes, which, now that being said, the hard thing about protesting these companies is sometimes you can't. I mean, people tried to protest Delta years ago, and they, again, basically beat a doctor for not giving up his seat from the Delta employees. A doctor was going for humanitarian work. People tried to protest it. Well, yeah, it turns out, in some cases, you really can't because it's the only flight route option, thanks to the FAA. You also have AceSpice64 saying, quote, Delta, if you exclusively and frequently, I fly you exclusively and frequently, it is not addressable. If this is not addressed, that will end. I support veterans and the right to reduce veteran suicide. Getting 185 likes. However, I don't think Delta's going to care about any of the backlash because the aforementioned notes that, again, many of the routes are monopolistic. The FAA won't give new routes. That's why there's not a lot of startups in the aviation industry, especially when it comes to consumer travel. The FAA, are they going to give additional licenses to fly those specific routes? No, probably not. You also have Hondu Lane saying, as a veteran, I will boycott Delta, getting 170 likes. You have Masculine Base says, you might expect it from these kind of people. It's a Delta airplane was filled up with rainbows, and a cat has been mutated or bred with a Pop-Tart. Not sure how that would function. But nevertheless, it is a cat with a Pop-Tart body, and it has the rainbow farting behind it. And it's standing next to a Delta employee, and the whole inside of the cabin of the plane is filled with the rainbow. Pop-Tart cat. How is that bred? Is this some abomination from Kellogg's we don't know about? All those artificial ingredients catching up with it? Maybe. Mutation from a cat. It sounds like a movie, maybe. But that did get 99 likes. Let's see. I don't see any contrarian comments thus far. The Right Girl says, these airplane companies clearly hate this country, getting 71 likes. E.R. Holman says, we know what the airlines will hire mentally ill to be flight attendants, getting 37 likes. Bruce Blau simply says, Delta, get the F out, getting 57 likes. So, again, mostly all very vehemently against Delta. Against just mentally, culturally, business-wise, just whole mentally vacuous, just immoral for Delta to do this. Again, I'm not surprised in terms of, times of thoughts and ideals that Delta has. I'm pretty sure, isn't that the airline has a CEO who's also a drag queen in his spare time? Which, again, that does increase their sales in places like San Francisco. Don't get me wrong. But overall, in the U.S. market, most people are wondering, why are you doing this? And why are you doing this in public? I guess we should only be surprised that he wasn't wearing a Delta Airlines logo on his lapel. Well, actually, no, they don't wear a lot of clothes. Usually don't do that, but nevertheless, you get my point. So, a lot of backlash, but at the end of the day, I wonder how much, will their sales even drop 1%? I mean, I'm pretty skeptical. If we just pull up their stock, now I'm a little curious. Delta stock, which granted, there are so many variables that go to a stock price, it's hard to, attribute it to a single factor most of the time. I mean, overall, their stock, it looks like it went down at the news of this 0.54%. It's still trading for $54.80 per share. And last week it went up by 3% overall. Past month is up 16.2%. So I'm pretty skeptical in terms of, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I think there should be more of a negative backlash from the public, but again, I'm not sure how many people could realistically boycott it, how many people are going to drive instead of taking a flight. But let me know in the comments, are you surprised with this action of Delta Airlines? Do you think they'll actually turn things around? And I mean, kind of cliche, but maybe Delta will do a copy paste of their old PR where after a couple of weeks of pressure, they'll do a donation. In this case, if I do a donation to the nonprofit that's, selling those t-shirts with suicide awareness, I think that's most likely going to be the most likely result if there is enough social pressure, enough media backlash. But let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have a journalist arrested for filming a quote-unquote all-ages drag show. Unfortunately, I was about to say the great, and this, maybe not today. This is in the state of Texas. Now, this comes to us thanks to the lips of TikTok, and yet another reason to watch this on the good old rumble.com, because there this video won't get, it'd be ironic if this is one of the most viewed videos of all time on my channel. However, when I talk about certain topics, I notice that there's less views, not just because of my speaking ineptitudes, which granted there are many. Now, again, this comes to us thanks to Lives of TikTok, in which she says, quote, a journalist in Texas was arrested by police for filming a quote-unquote all-ages drag show that is being held at a city's public event center. It's almost as if they're trying to hide something. And I should have done a, warning in terms of, well, oh dear God, I should have done a warning, a visual warning as well as an audio warning. YouTube will probably rip out the music, which in this case you might be thankful since it's so rudimentary, simplistic, and terrible. And interestingly enough, in terms of the might be nonprofit, the event that it's called the event, it's I don't know who comes up with their logo, it's pretty rudimentary or creepy if you think of the background of if you think of the background of Nickelodeon, maybe there's a parallel there. I don't know, but the logo is a foot and it says step and it says all ages drag show South Texas Equality Project. Yeah, and it took place in Mission, Texas. And again, the important part here, especially, is this is taking place at a public event center. So yes, your tax dollars, your rights, they're all coming into play. And it looks like it is starting with a big guy in a dress with about 18 pounds of makeup put onto his face. And, well, admittedly better hair than mine in terms of luscious. Granted, it's probably a wig, but still, have to give it credit, I suppose. It's surrounded by pinata-looking chickens and hearts that are on flaming, and then flowers. Yeah, so as youth might say, this is cringe, but we'll dive on in. So this individual is wearing what is it? What is definitely fake leather, low quality. Texas burn, but they're wearing boots that go up to their knees and some type of creepy dress so you could see its buttocks, and yeah, a lot of rainbows. An adult dancing like he's on an LSD or LCD or some type of DVD, dancing, interesting enough, wearing a beret, at least in unique thing.
Okay, but
and now the police removed the journalist.
He's not the owner of this building.
No, the city of Mission.
Yes, the city of Mission owns this building where you're having this drag show with children right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the police on down.
No, whoa, don't touch my phone. Don't touch my phone. What are you doing? Oh, no.
This is a free country, correct?
No, it's not. No, it's not. I just got arrested for just being here.
Well.
Yep. No, it's not a free country.
Well.
You guys proved it. You guys absolutely proved it. No, I'm right. I know I'm right.
It ends at RGV Truth. It looks like they're on Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, and the YouTube. It looks like this is filmed October 19th, this year. And thankfully, this went pretty viral. Got 2.4 million views, as well as how many likes do we get here? 57. Oh, I thought we could make it 58,000 likes. Not quite there yet. And yeah, again, it's one, if you have nothing to hide, why do they hate when people start to film these events? And also, your tax dollars are paying for that. Well, depending on where you live in the U.S., not yours, but you know what I mean. This local journalist. And yeah, quite creepy. And always decided, always quite interesting. They always don't want you filming. I mean, shouldn't they be proudly putting this on the internets and, telling all their friends about this great event? Interesting that most people expose these events. Many sponsors do drop, and many of the events become canceled because of it. Now, in this case, I was actually fascinated. We didn't see about 12, Fortune 200 logos there. I'm only partially kidding. Now, we do have this event being hosted by Step, which, again, it's a weird... The foot, of course, the foot outline is purple, with all the toes, it's like a rainbow. So each toe is a different color. So it's not anatomically correct in any way. And yeah, there's no such thing as all ages drag show. Just like you would never take a child to a strip club. No one would ever do it. And this is also a fascinating thing. Culturally speaking, in many states, it's illegal to have children at a drag show. Yet, many of the police are cowardice, or they just don't want to actually enforce it, or maybe the district attorneys don't want to enforce it. I mean, a lot of people are drawing parallels to like jaywalking, which is technically illegal everywhere, yet you really don't see that. There's not a lot of public support. There's not a lot of people actually pushing to be enforced. Granted, this is much more perverse and disgusting, but we're seeing in many cities, even in Texas. I mean, I think this actually happened again last year in Denton, Texas, which granted is a college town, but still overall, we talked to the people on the streets, people did not like that, and it turns out they actually flew in a lot of activists to put that event together. Now, going to the major comments of this video, let's see here. Thick Eggshell strikes again. Now, they have a cartoon. Looks like they have a guy. It's a cartoon of a guy with a pink t-shirt with a trans pride flag on him. And he says, quote, reduce penalties for pedos, force parents to accept trans kids, put men in women's bathrooms. Looks like you have Smeagol from Lord of the Rings coming out with a child. It says, is it legal yet? From the closet behind him. And the person speaking gives a creepy look. He says, not yet, but soon. And the podium does say California, which on point and also quite horrifying. Yeah, several states have actually opposed harsher penalties for people who abuse children. What's a nice way of putting this? No, those people are monsters. Why would you ever oppose, of all the punishments and all the laws, why would you oppose that? That is viscerally disgusting. Those people should be absolutely voted out with extreme prejudice. If you're local to those types of politicians, primary them, vote for the opposition, let everyone know that those politicians are voting against harsher penalties for these monsters. Ridiculous. Yeah, California also passed that new law where the schools don't have to tell parents and they can hide information about the kids who want to transition. Hence why Elon Musk moved two of the largest, most successful businesses out of California to the great state, some might argue the great country of TXS, both SpaceX as well as X, formerly known as Twitter. Also, AKA saying disgusting, getting 383 likes. Paul Zupa says, quote, getting arrested for exposing child abuse, and in Texas, getting 888 likes, which, yep. Harry says, the police arrested this guy filming, not the guy flashing his private part to kids. Hashtag Ken Paxton. Get on that, Ken. I'm not following him already. I got 1.4 thousand likes, which, yeah, this police should be fired. And we need to also, let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. Should police, when they get in trouble, should that money come from the taxpayers and their settlements, or should it come from the police unions, which they have what do they say, quite flush funds in their union pension fund? Yeah, let's police. Again, the police, you're allowed to fill them. It's called the Constitution Bill of Rights. I know a lot of people don't believe it anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, the fact that police knocked his phone down, or again, didn't hit the ground necessarily, but he pushed his camera down and the phone stopped filming. Again, this is I don't know if the argument they're going to use is there's a private event, but it's a public building his tax dollars are paying for. And not only did they kick him out of the room, but they stopped him from filming multiple times. Not only just in that room, but when you're filming police officers, it's absolutely in your rights in America. Going down more and more. Tyler Dunderson, interesting name, says, quote, Greg Abbott, Governor, how is this even legal to film this, let alone be arrested? Better yet, why are there all age drag shows in a city public event center? Are we allowing perverted parents to groom children at a city facility and have police protecting them while doing this? Getting 1.9 thousand likes. Which, get on it. Yeah, I can follow him too. Greg Abbott. Another friendly reminder, geez Louise, I can speak. Again, I have that theory. The more subscribers I've gained, the better I've been speaking. Granted, when I first started the show, no one was tuning. Oh, 18 people. Well, actually, no, less people were tuning in, but I had no subscribers. And I spoke even worse when I first started the show, mostly monotone, stumbling over my words, worse than Joe Biden stumbling upstairs while trying to walk. But as I've slowly but surely gained more subscribers, I've become more articulate. So if you can do me a favor, click that subscribe button. I may very well get to a point where I can go through an entire episode speaking perfectly articulate and just flawlessly. Granted, some might say it's a tall pie in the sky goal, but you have to have goals in life. And I have a theory that it'll be proven true as we gain slowly but surely more subscribers. We also have, let's see, going down more and more. Dave Sullivan, hashtag or pronouns prosecute Fauci, says Texas forever. Where are our mighty Texans at? And it's a picture of a gal whispering outside window of a car saying, if they weren't grooming kids, they would be so mad if they weren't grooming kids, they wouldn't be so mad when we asked them to leave them alone. And 564 likes. Florida 1 says, you're not allowed to film in the depravity and you alert the public. You would think the police would stop the depravity. When did this change? Getting 528 likes. Well, police cowardice, unfortunately. That and district attorneys don't actually do their laws. They've been growing in frequency throughout the years. Our Patriot US says, didn't do anything about pedos running it, attack the people exposing their perversion, getting 662 likes. Base Washington says, why is this happening in Texas, getting 301 likes. Fight with memes, but they did not in fact respond in meme form. Says, quote, you'll be punished for noticing the degeneracy and for helping others who notice it. Getting 609 likes. Chuck Tomlinson says, there should be no such thing as all ages drag show. They need to leave the children alone, getting 158 likes. Old School Eddie says, what are they trying to hide? These people cannot be trusted around children. Simple fact. Getting 222 likes. True. Let's see. So not too many contrarian comments here. Actually, none at all. No, that being said, there are many people who, well, mainly San Francisco, there are a lot of folks who, they do approve of these activities. Well, shoot, there's a lot of them sponsoring it and actually running it. So again, it's not like there's zero of them out there. But in terms of this comment section, they're not present. So it'll be interesting to see, ultimately speaking, how much long will this be tolerated? I mean, how much longer, do you think it'll increase in popularity? You see a lot of large businesses actually starting to withdraw sponsorship of more controversial events, including like these. So I think we're at the cusp of having a turning point where these become less frequent and become less culturally accepted. But let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have Mark Cuban saying that he's open to joining the Trump administration, which, yeah, maybe he sees the writing is on the wall. I say that because very few people have bashed Donald Trump more than Mark Cuban. I mean, I'm not sure if he was dating Kamala Harris, but they seem to be of the same mindset or IQ level. But it's one of those instances where, just a couple weeks ago, Mark was so mentally vacuous in terms of supporting Kamala Harris. He was actually saying, oh yeah, it doesn't matter what her policies are. She could change her policies around taxes and businesses up to the day of the election. Which, I was about to say that's the dumbest thing Mark Cuban's ever said. I don't know. He says the volume of sheer things he said that are mentally vacuous are such vast, I don't know if I can confidently say that. It's that bad. But, he's been calling Trump, he's calling Trump names for almost a decade now. And yet now he's saying, oh yeah, I might be up for this. That was hilariously two-faced. Now, this is coming from the leading report saying, quote, breaking, Mark Cuban says he'll be willing to work with Trump administration if asked. And Mark Cuban says, quote, I put America first, unquote, which he most certainly does not. Just the fact that many of his companies, there's a DEI, he fired, just look at statistically, or just look at the data in terms of businesses that he owns, that he used to own. And they coincidentally, I'm sure, they fired a lot of white guys and replaced them with minority people. So he cleaned house. A lot of it is that the business term when you clean house and you rotate a high level of frequency employees? It loses me at the moment. But yeah, he's all about DEI and putting America first. I would think, give everyone equal opportunity to compete for those jobs. And what I've heard, I should say there's an asterisk or allegedly, that's not what has happened in his businesses. Now, this one pretty probably got 2.5 million views as well as 12,000 likes, with one of the first comments coming from Matt Walz. Now, Matt Walz says, quote, why not explain publicly in a video exactly what you would like to see Trump do when he becomes president, Mark Cuban? Kamala is going to lose in an overwhelming storm of votes. There is a reason most Democrat candidates in swing states aren't willing to tie their name to her. Got 1.2 thousand likes. That being said, who knows how many votes will come in at 2 or 3 in the morning this year. But yeah, in terms of the betting odds, a lot of these polls, a lot of these surveys, they are more favorable to Trump past couple weeks, especially actually after Kamala Harris went on all those late night TV shows and was so disconnected to the common man. He had trouble opening a beer, which, again, it was almost unfathomable in terms of how could you be that awkward? That's coming from me. Even I'm not that awkward. I know how to open a beer, even though I don't have more than maybe one a year. But even I know how to open a can of beer. She struggled with that, and she forgot like this. She asked for Miller High Life on the Steve Colbert show. She asked for a specific brand name, and then she forgot the brand's like mantra, like the champagne beers. Like I don't even drink that stuff. And I know the not the logo. I know the trademarked phrase they use. Like, she's just so fake, and her policies are so bad. Like she wants to tax unrealized gains. I mean, like, that alone would kill so many people. The ripple effect would be monumentous. And some studies show they wouldn't even fund the government for 3 days. So she would only be doing it to send a message and destroy capitalism. I mean, all of her policies are on business. Like, I don't know a single small business owner or medium business owner that supports Kamala Harris or her policies. Now, going back to the comment section, you have Libercat Media TM said, translation, I bet on the wrong horse. Getting 6.6 thousand likes. Can't but wonder, how would Trump react to Mark Cuban all of a sudden pretending to be on his side? Trump might say something to the effect of, Mark Cuban, he's hated me for a long time. With my administration, we only get the best. We need smart, brilliant people in my administration. So, Mark, I have to say, I wish you the best. He would probably say something to that effect. Granted, that might be the worst Trump impression you hear all year, but at least you heard it here. Going back to the main comment section, you have It's Tiff said, "Aha, now, Mark Cuban could sit this one out and follow his lesbian creepy cat lady Guide of Imbeciles, getting 4.9 thousand likes. Our Patriot US says, if he was truly America first, he wouldn't be voting and siding with Kamala, getting 2.2 thousand likes. Our Patriot also says, sounds like he thinks Trump is going to win and is keeping his inbox open. Talk about opportunistic loser, getting 3.3 thousand likes, which, yes, he's rallied against Trump for 6 months now, just constantly pushing Kamala Harris, which again, none of her policies would help small business owners. They'd be an antithesis. What am I even talking about? I'm not saying they would. They are small business owners. Now, Paratrooper Brady also says Trump should ask him kindly to F off, getting 2,000 likes. Jay Holland says we don't want him, getting 1.4 thousand likes. Patrick Webb does a poll, says, quote, should Mark Cuban join the Trump administration? 4,762 people have voted. I'm going to guess 90+% are saying hell no. The options are yes or no. Ew, close. 89.8% said no, 10.2% said yes, which if Trump needs a brilliant entrepreneur who can cut costs and innovate, that's obviously Elon Musk. Yeah, yeah, Mark Cuban? No. Slowly, let's do one or two more comments here. Emergent perspective, Mark Cuban for court jester. It's Mark Cuban with a clown nose getting 529 likes, which does look pretty scary and funny. Ashford Forbes says Two-Faced Mark Cuban getting 725 likes, one of the most popular ones. Robert Spector says this guy is a weasel, getting 837 likes. No Pucking Around says he won't be asked. No worries, getting 447 likes, which, yeah, again, is that scary amalgamation of Mark Cuban and Kamala Harris's hair. Ugh. It says Skeeter. This is from Skeeter. Says, quote, we are not hiring. That got 82 likes. So yeah, looks like Mark Cuban will do anything to be popular. Oh, I guess maybe he just sees the tides are turning. Because again, for 6+ months, all he did is rally against Trump, who, again, business-wise, especially, Mark Cuban's supposed to be a businessman. He's a successful billionaire. He sold to Yahoo.com back when Yahoo had money for, $3.34 billion, something like that, for broadcast.com, which, again, was revolutionary at the time. Also ironic, Mark Cuban hates patents, but he's a billionaire because of his patents. Partially digress. But let me know in the comments. Do you think Trump will actually, take Cuban on for his offer? What does Mark Cuban have to offer that Elon Musk can't offer, if not more in spades? Pretty interesting question. Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have Tim Walz is being fact-checked by CNN about Trump manufacturing jobs. Now, this comes to us thanks to Gunther Eagleman on the good old X. Now, Gunther Eagleman says, quote, holy shit, CNN just fact-checked Tim Walz and exposed a blatant lie. He tried to say that Trump lost more manufacturing jobs than any president in history. Which, let's pull this up here. About a minute long here.
Let's talk about building. Let's talk about manufacturing. Building back up manufacturing in the United States is a focus of both campaigns. I want to play for you what Vice Presidential candidate Tim Walz said about this yesterday.
We want to make sure that you're able to bring manufacturing like Kamala Harris has did. We know Donald Trump lost more manufacturing jobs than any president in American history.
Yep.
That's simply factual.
What are the facts here?
Well, if you're going to say something is simply factual, it should be factual. This is not. It's not true that the Trump presidency lost more manufacturing jobs than any other presidency. Under George W. Bush, there were about 4.5 million manufacturing jobs lost. Under Trump, it was about 178,000. Now, there are also more manufacturing jobs lost than under Trump, under Eisenhower, under Ford, under Reagan. So Trump does not have the record. I think it's also worth pointing out for context that these Trump job losses in manufacturing overwhelmingly occurred because of the COVID pandemic. Pre-pandemic, under Trump, there was a gain of about 414,000 manufacturing jobs. Again, he ended a negative 178,000, but that was largely because we had a pandemic-related crash.
Daniel Dale, great to see you as always. Thank you. John?
Yep. They got 1.5 million views and 48,000 likes. Which, yep, here's a great infographic from Lynn's mom. Said, correct, and by comparison, Kamala was not close to Trump. Record on manufacturing jobs. Tim Walz is lying sack of crap, which, as Tim Walz would probably say, he just misspoke, which he happens to do a lot of. Mr. Tim Walz, who actually never saw combat, but said he did. Also never used IVF, but said he did. Also, weirdly enough, says he only likes mild white guy tacos, when in fact, he has an award for making a spicy taco. Definition of weird. Now, this little infographic shows manufacturing jobs created in the first 38 months of office. Kamala Harris, 184,000. Trump, 414,000. Yeah, and I'd also argue with Harris, some of that bounce back from the pandemic. Sarah Smith says, you know things are far apart when CNN is actually admitting lies from the left, getting 1.3 thousand likes. Let's see. Someone by the name of Lotta Fan China says, Tim Walz is pathological. And the Daily Mail says, exclusive. Pathologists explain why Tim Walz, Kamala Harris VP pick, tells so many lies or tales. That was a picture of his DUI. Picture of him, was that Harry Sisson, one of those little influencers, getting 139 likes. 30 PL memes, which did in fact respond to meme forum, says leftist right now. It's the funny gal with the, well, redundant but short hair glasses crying in her car because Ruth Bader Ginsburg was so maniacally selfish she didn't retire when Obama was in office, the Supreme Court justice. And subsequently, she passed away when Trump was in office, which led to him being able to appoint some folks who believe in the Constitution, the Founding Fathers' ideals, onto the Supreme Court. She was in her car. She cried out loud. She's so angry that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was so, egotistical and selfish that she wouldn't give up power, which at the political opportune time would have been, or the strategic time would have been. She grasped onto the very end like Feinstein. So you have the girl, before she's screaming, and it says leftist, it says MSN could fact check people they interview, and then it says CNN fact checks Tim Walz, and she's screaming maniacally, getting 773 likes. Florida Man Stan says, COVID was made in lab, unleashed all over the world in the name of keeping Trump out of office. You'll never convince me otherwise. Getting 446, make it 447 likes. Oh, 462 likes, going up before our eyes. Proud Patriot US says, wow, even CNN had to fact check tampon Tim, getting 402 likes, which, yeah, putting tampons in boys' rooms, that's what tampon Tim likes to do. Creepy. Roxy Rigatoni says they never fact check him during the interviews. They fact check Trump and Vance to their faces, but Harris and Walz get fact checked way later when the viewers are already under false premises. Yep, getting 223 likes. The right answer says we should just expect that anything Tim Walz's mouth is a lie, getting 161 likes. Let's see. A couple memes. A couple more statistics. Talking about the pandemic and all manufacturing jobs. Let's see. Josh says they're trying to appear unbiased, so when Trump wins, they don't go bankrupt. 41 likes, which, no, they would make more money if Trump was in office. That's the kind of funny thing about CNN. They should have been devastated when Trump lost in 2020 because they lost, 48% of their viewership nearly overnight. I mean, they were making bank off all the Trump fear and all the scams they make up about him. I mean, I can't but secretly think all the executives at CNN have to be hoping, fingers crossed, like, come on, Trump, win it. Because then they have something to report about to feed all their mentally vacuous viewers. Now, I call them mentally vacuous. I think everyone should, look at all the news outlets to gain perspective, see what the other side's thinking, and form your own opinion. But yeah, someone who actually religiously trusts CNN, yeah, let's just say CNN, all the so-called news that they report you should take it with a metric ton of salt, not just a pinch. Let's see. But not too many, not too many contrarian statements here. And yeah, in terms of the jobs created, I hope most people by now understand in terms of the statistics of, the outlier of Trump's last year in office or with the pandemic, and they realize that, oh yeah, the economy, jobs, and everything was infinitely better when he was in office. But let me know in the comments, do you think that the average American is getting that point by now? Because as always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, Trump's McDonald's shift continues to go viral all week. Now this comes to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, who shared a picture of Trump working the McDonald's drive-thru. And she says, quote, "This is going to go down in history as a photo that won Trump the election," unquote. It's Trump in, of course, he does have a signature red tie on and a button-up white shirt, but he does have a little apron on. Got, wow, 5.7 million views and 245,000 likes, which, yeah, I think this, though granted, I think the most prolific, important picture of our lifetime is going to be Trump after this first assassination attempt by the, I don't know what you want to call it, leftist or the deep state. It's fascinating how all the assassination attempts only are against one political party. It's a fascinating coincidence, I'm sure. But yeah, I think that picture will be, right up there with the Iwo Jima in terms of historical provenance and significance. Let me know if you think differently. But yeah, I think this will be up there too, though. Now, again, some top comments coming from Gunther Eagleman says, quote, "It's an iconic picture," getting 778 likes. Paul Zupa says, "I swear he could be one of the founders," getting 725 likes. Which, that's always a fun debate. Who are the real founders? McDonald's brothers, who, again, they got up to like 4 locations and didn't really want to expand. Or was it Ray Kroc when he came in and expanded it to be, what it is basically today? Another debate for another time, perhaps. Now, you also have Liberty Media TM says, "We found proof Kamala worked at McDonald's too." It looks like a inebriated girl who's passed out on the McDonald's statue with her face in Ronald McDonald's crotch. Getting 1,000 likes, which, yeah, it's fascinating how many people cheer on Kamala if you were to look at her career and how she got there. Definitely not a good way to represent women. Now, that picture did get 1,000 likes. Planet Memes finally did respond in meme form. It's like, it's a picture of Trump. Well, this is photoshopped of him standing in front of the McDonald's ice cream machine. It says, quote, "When I'm president," quote, him saying it, so maybe I'll attempt to use his voice. "When I'm president," oh no, that's terrible. "When I'm president, every McDonald's ice cream machine will be operational," unquote. Got 719 likes, which, that would be, if he could make that happen, he could make anything happen. Yeah. David Sullivan, hashtag prosecute Fauci pronouns, said, "I was moved when the lady said, 'Don't let our country turn into my native Brazil.' The cherry top was, 'Thank you for taking the bullet for us.'" Yeah, a picture of Trump there, actually putting some french fries in there. That got 217,000 views and 7.4 thousand likes. Let's see. Dave Benner says, quote, "He was a troll of Kamala for her birthday classic." See what he says here.
Is Kamala president? He's 60 years old. Yes, I would say happy birthday, Kamala. She's turning 60. I think I'll get her some flowers. Maybe I'll get her some fries. I'll give her some McDonald's. I'll get her a McDonald's. No, it is her birthday. It is true, right? Happy birthday, Kamala. Happy birthday. See you later.
Then maybe I'll get her some flowers or McDonald's since it's happy birthday, Kamala. Getting 2,000 likes. Frank Ivanek says, "I can't remember any presidential campaign having so many iconic moments." There's a picture of Trump's mugshot. You have Trump after he was shot. You have JD Vance versus Tim Walz, where JD Vance did the Jim from The Office look at the screen. You have Elon Musk dancing or jubilee jumping at a Trump campaign or rally with Trump standing at the podium. You have Trump, I believe, picture's a little small, but I believe it is a picture of him shaking RFK Jr.'s hand. They have Trump standing next to the uniform of the firefighter who passed away from the first assassination attempt, where they actually hit the firefighter as well. That got 4.9 thousand likes. Let's see. David Pecciato says, quote, "The left roasting him for this proves that not only do they have zero respect for a lower economic class, take notes, they are fine with classic racism, sexism, body shaming, and everything else if you choose to oppose them politically," getting 2.3 thousand likes. Let's see here. Unruly Julie says, "Both are iconic." There's a close-up picture after the first assassination attempt. There's the same at the checkout or the McDonald's drive-thru. Getting 7.1 thousand likes. Cass Loren says, "Trump said so many iconic photos this year," getting 59 likes. Someone says, Abby So Mandy says, quote, November 5th is Judgment Day, Deep State, TikTok. And someone added the text to the Trump picture of him waving at the checkout. Says, serving up justice November 5th, getting 2.3 thousand likes. Let's see. Redondo says, I'll take number 1 with a large Coke. McDonald's, I'll be $15. Anything else? I'll take a Trump victory in 2 weeks so we can make this place more affordable again. Vote Trump. Getting $2.6 thousand. Old School Eddie also says, this is the person we need as president, not some Washington elite who thinks that they are above us, getting 1.7 thousand likes. TVD said the people's president is Trump working the deep fryer, getting 3,000 likes, which he's next to one of the McDonald's employees, looks like a high school kid. Imagine, that's gotta be one of the most iconic moments of your life. Like, you're working at McDonald's and you got the former president of the United States working with you. He'll never forget that day. Got 3,000 likes as well. So I think, again, this will be one of the most iconic things he's done. He's good at the marketing. It'll be interesting to see also, I mean, how many people this persuade politically speaking. Oh, geez. There's an AI picture of Kamala Harris. This is by Natalie Solio. It says, Kamala, hold my beer, brother. There's a picture, an AI picture of Kamala, and she's putting in a tray with a cat on it into the oven, getting 298 likes. Which Trump would say, I was right. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Let's see. Let's do 1 or 2 more comments. Yeah, a lot of people just, I think the most popular vernacular is vote for the people's president. Oh, this is a great juxtaposition of 2 pictures. You also have Cecilia saying, quote, this photo will definitely be one of the runners-up. And it's Chuck Schumer, who, yeah, he doesn't know. I don't know. I don't think he's done an on-stage work or an actual job ever, or at least in half a century maybe. It's him with frozen beef patties on a grill, which may be lit, and he has cheese on top of the frozen patties, which, again, you don't have to be a Gordon Ramsay chef to realize that's not how you cook a burger. It was funny, he posted that for a Father's Day tweet years ago, and he deleted it because he realized, oh yeah, that's not how humans eat. And that got 98 likes. So let me know in the comments. I mean, this is one of the most, this is probably one of the coolest things happened all week in terms of, hey, granted, I mean, it's a really fascinating thing. I think the message reached a lot of people. But let me know in the comments, do you think overall, will this help actually move people towards Trump in the polls? Or actually, do you think all of the votes are locked in by now? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Laura Loomer now suing Bill Maher for actually accusing that she had an affair with Donald Trump. Now, this text is a little bit long, but granted, framing, some might say it's just thorough. This comes directly from Laura Loomer on X, or as 5 people now call it, Twitter. And she says, quote, announcement. Today I filed a defamation lawsuit against Bill Maher, hashtag Bill Maher. Shows how many times I watch him. Bill Maher. There we go. Took me a while. And HBO for falsely accusing me of having an affair with President Donald Trump on September 13th episode of Maher's show, hashtag Real Timers. And it looks like the lawyer's vernacular says, quote, Ms. Loomer has been a strong advocate for President Donald Trump in her profession as a conservative activist and investigative journalist over the past decade. Ms. Loomer promotes individual freedoms, strong national security, secure and closed borders, and constitutional conservative values, all which are in league with President Trump's pro-American policies agenda. Accordingly, she has become a target of Bill Maher and Home Box Office, both of whom attack the Democrat, both of whom advocate for Democrat Party values, officials, and values. They attacked Ms. Loomer with defamatory statements as a vehicle to harm President Trump in his campaign for presidency of the United States and to harm Ms. Loomer's credibility. Bill Maher is a known Trump hater. It is an outrage that Maher and Home Box Office would try to destroy professional women in a zeal to harm President Trump. Full complaint here. And documents about a mile wide, as most legal documents are, but it's a pretty good summary. And pre-val got 1.1 million views and 32,000 likes. Let's see. Scroll down, one of the first comments come from Cat Turd saying Loomer getting 1.2 thousand likes. Brother Eagleman says, quote, I hope you take them for every effing penny they have, getting 1.7 thousand likes. Liz Churchill says, so damn awesome, getting 128 likes. Tara Bull says, never mess with Loomer. I hope you get every cent, getting 116 likes. Paul Zupa also says, awesome Laura, let's go get him, getting 286 likes. Cash Loren says, good Laura, Lexi Media has been getting away with defaming people for far too long, getting 76 likes. Well, I mean, let's be honest, they're only defaming one side of the political aisle that I can think of. AKA says, get him Laura, getting 35 likes. Junia Broderick says, Bill Maher's an insufferable prick, getting 1.4 thousand likes. Right Angle News Network says, quote, bring these people down. I'm so tired of us getting censored online while these twisted freaks get to say whatever they want about us. Take their money and their jobs lower. Getting 459 likes. Which, yeah, I'm sure that would probably be deleted if, yeah, Elon didn't buy out Twitter or X. Let's see. Miguel Farina says, I'm praying for this to be the greatest, most effective lawsuit ever. Go get him, getting 176 likes. Now, in terms of huge lawsuits, I don't think anything will ever surpass the deep state versus, oh, I guess the former Sandy Hook children's families suing him for billions of dollars and taking everything he has. Fiscally speaking, I'm not sure we'll ever have a media lawsuit that big again. Granted, the lawyers did it specifically to quote unquote send a message. Let's see. Going down the comments, Shut the Front Door says, you realize that opens you up, right? Discovery should be fun for you. Getting 323 likes. Finally, a contrarian statement brewed to the surface. Steve also says, good for you, Laura, getting 567 likes. George says this is the way, getting 107 likes. Let's see. Another contrarian statement. This one comes from Whistler's Mama, the Resisting Sister. Which, of course, she has butterflies, blue waves, and describes herself as language. Do you hate language or Trump more? Words won't harm, but maggots hurt. Stronger together. Well, of course, she has a dictator flag. I mean, the Canadian flag. As well as, interesting enough, she does have the U.S. flag, a blue heart, a Ukrainian flag. She says vote and says no DMs, no MAGA, which definitely not mentally unstable. I'll give her a follow. Lord knows what she has to say. And again, no one wants to be in an echo chamber. Life can get a little bit boring. So I'll follow her for that reason as well. Now she says, quote, this is hilarious. You're a queen of defamation. I can only imagine how many lawsuits you've been slapped with. You do know it's almost impossible to win a defamation case, especially when you sought to be a public figure. Good luck with this. You'll need it, getting 156 likes, which, again, the issue with these public type of lawsuits is you have to prove damages. You have to prove the damages. Again, Laura Loomer, she's not an individual. She's an individual, but in the legal realm, she's very much a public figure. So she would have to prove, I mean, it's very hard. Let's say, for example, and this would be the best case scenario in terms of statistically showing a loss of revenue, loss of income. She'd have to say, okay, after that episode of Bill Maher, the next day she lost a contract with, I don't know, a soda company for $100 million, just ballpark numbers. And that company would have to specifically say they're dropping you because of that episode of Bill Maher, because of what he said, or because of the accusation. Don't get me wrong, it can happen in terms of proving that in court, but the burden is really high. So I'm not sure how she'll be able to justify that, or again, maybe her lawyer does have some of the evidence that she'll be able to bring to court. But that's why, again, I don't really agree with the Whistler's Mama, Resistant Sister, as the youth might say, a sus name. But yeah, I would agree with probably everything she says. But in the fact that she does say that part of her paragraph, like you have to show it in court, which it is nearly impossible. It is right in that regard. I'm not sure how Laura is going to be able to show her statistically how she's lost her, her brand has been damaged, or she's lost direct income from it. And truth be told, I'm not sure how much it really damaged her ears, because the people who watch Bill Maher, they're not, they're probably not fans of Laura Loomer to begin with. They're not going to tune into her. They're completely different audiences. There might be a little overlap, because again, there are some folks who want to seek out as much information as possible and try different media outlets. There are some of those around, don't get me wrong, but I think, unfortunately, those folks are in the minority. So I'm not sure how Laura's going to be able to prove this. But, in terms of public sentiment, most of these comments are overwhelmingly, approving of her. And it is a dick move to accuse her of that. But I'm not sure how she'll be able to prove in court that, she's suffered quantifiable damages from it. But, let me know in the comments, because, we see a lot of these type of defamation cases, more often than not, just because, just be frank, ease of lawsuits, they're usually settled outside of court, and also expediency. I suspect if I were a gambling man, which I'm not really, well, I suppose I'm an entrepreneur, so yeah, it is a form of gambling, I suppose. But if I was a traditional gambling man, I'm not sure if I'd roll the dice or I'd put any money on her winning this. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have the WNBA players wanting a new contract. Granted, some might argue the business blunder is the WNBA in and of itself existing. I understand that, but not today. Today we're talking about how they're handling players, which is poorly. Because, again, when it comes to the WNBA, they're a joke. Statistically speaking, in terms of revenue, thanks to, ironically, their sugar daddy, the NBA, they do exist. I say that because, well, the NBA founded the WNBA and is a large, they're the biggest owner and contributor to, fiscally speaking, how the WNBA is allowed to exist. Because again, let's look up some fun facts really quick here before we dive into the actual article. Let's see. Let's pull up some fun facts about the WNBA, which all 18 people enjoy it. I'm kidding. The players have more than that in family, which, ooh, that'd be the true testament of a family member in love. Ooh, if you had a relative who played in WNBA, would you go watch? Now, not as a punishment, to generally try to cheer them on. Would you go watch? Oh, I have a sister. Thank God she doesn't play basketball, so I don't have to worry about this theoretical situation. But would I go to cheer her on? Not just for like a minute. You have to say for the whole game. Ooh. I'm not saying it's the definition of hell, but it might be a factor. It might be one of the stages. I have to read Dante's Inferno. It might be one of the last chapters of the book. Now, let's see. When was the WNBA founded? All right. 1996. Didn't they lose 50 million last year? Let's check it out. How much money did the WNBA lose? And I'm looking these up on Grok, the AI from X. Oh, geez. Even with sky record amounts of interest, thanks to good old Iowan Caitlin Clark, even that is not enough to actually make a profit for the company or the league. Now they say, quote, again, this is from XAI, or the AI Grok. I'll pronounce it right one of these days, perhaps. They say, quote, the WNBA is reported to be on track to lose approximately 40 million in 2024 season to nearly 50 million. This figure represents slightly improvement over the 50 million loss the year before, but it underscores the financial challenges the league faces, despite the growing popularity and increased viewership and attendance. I have to check this. I have to ask them, I'm not saying this will solve crime overnight, but are prisoners being sent to WNBA games? Ooh. I might have just solved crime in America. If you knew you were going to go to jail, and they would have to, the ultimate punishment, you have to go to every single WNBA game if you're sent to prison in the United States. I'm not saying crime would be solved overnight, but statistically speaking, I mean, what would that crash look like in terms of the number of people committing crimes? Would it cut it in half, conceivably? I mean, ooh, that's, granted, I know there's a clause, the government said, the founding fathers said you're not supposed to have cruel and unusual punishment. I suspect it will be challenged in court if this plan were trying to be executed. So there might be some issues in that regard, but I mean, let's get creative, people. We got to fix some stuff in America. And it's not out of the realm of possibility. Now, this comes to us again thanks to LinkedIn. Going to the actual article, they say, quote, and this is thanks to Kara Reinhardt, or is a writer over there, say, quote, WNBA players push for a new contract. The New York Liberty came into hop last Sunday's WNBA championship, which, did anyone even know that existed? Like, no, nobody knew that existed. I apologize. The people, oh, dear Lord, I feel bad for him. The cameraman probably knew it existed. The people who played, most of them probably showed up and knew it existed. And presumably, some other family members probably showed up to watch it. Now, they say the New York Liberty came out to hop to, that has to be a team name, which is also weak. They say, quote, Sunday night's WNBA championship, and league players are now hoping to do the same thing in a looming contract negotiation. They voted to opt out of their current collective bargaining agreement, setting up potential work stoppage in 2026. Oh, dear God, what would we do? This is one of those things where a lot of unions, a lot of players, a lot of people threaten to go on strike, which in some cases there are some real life consequences. Like if we stop making cars tomorrow, that'd be pretty bad, especially the Cadillac CT4V Blackwing, Cadillac CT5V Blackwing. That would stink if that stop production on that. And if I won the lottery, I'd definitely buy one of those. That'd be bad. The economy would suffer because a lot of people need to buy new cars. People get into accidents. They want to upgrade your car. Maybe I'm trying to think of other strikes. The dock strike, where if you can't import goods to the United States, that'd be a bad strike. A lot of people be hurt. If the WNBA went on a strike, I can't but think it'd be the same parallel of when the federal government is shut down, and about 5 people notice, and 2 people care. I'm only partially exaggerating. Now they say, quote, they're seeking changes, including higher pay, which they lost $40 million to $50 million, and they want higher pay. Again, these players are so mentally vacuous. One gal has an $8,000 per month rent. That's the dumbest thing you can do in your life. $8,000 a month to rent. And she says, like, oh yeah, I don't make enough money because of my salary. It's like, do Americans not know to live within their means? $8,000 a month to rent? Jeez. Now they're also pushing for family planning, benefits, and share of revenue. Yeah. They say after the league enjoyed upticks in attendance and merchandising sales. People are buying that merch? Maybe pay Caitlin Clark. They say, meanwhile, Nike renewed its WNBA uniform and apparel partnerships along the NBA. Which, you win the big contract, I'm pretty sure the small one gets thrown in for free. I'm only partially kidding. But, yeah, they're going to ask for all this stuff. Business Blunder is clearly the league, WNBA league, not properly controlling the situation, and maybe just sitting down these players and trying to calmly, again, I'm sure the players would love if they were explained with logic and reason and not emotional rhetoric. And they're just walking through a spreadsheet of how much we're losing money and how, no, you do not deserve to get paid a penny more because, again, the league is not sustainable. It's a charity still. Now, again, I'm not saying in our lifetime it won't make a profit. That's not out of the realm of possibility. They're technically trending in the right direction throughout the decades. They could get to that point. But right now, it's a fiscal loser. And it's hilarious that some people think this is the WNBA doesn't succeed in the United States because of sexism or something like that. The U.S. is, I think it's now 51% female. Again, if you want to say only women watch the WNBA, which, I mean, statistically speaking, more of them do, but if they all tuned in, they would make just as much money. Or technically, they would make more money than the NBA, especially if there's a high correlation of sponsorships and people buying the products that the sponsorships represent. But there's a reason the NBA makes billions in revenue and profit. The NBA makes $200 million in revenue. What was it? Let me pull up the last fun fact of the day. What was the WNBA's revenue this year? So 2024 WNBA revenue. Let's see here. Come on, Groke. Don't let me down now. The camera's running. All the times for the Groke to be slow. Now, the cliche joke in IT is it's the network. More often than not, that's not the issue. That's just what everyone complains about. But no, I have pretty darn good infrastructure here. Let's see here. Let's try another website. WNBA revenue. What does Brave search say? See, that happened in a New York minute. Groke is taking a little too long. I don't know what's going on, Elon. It's been about 10 seconds, which in IT is an eternity. Why should I partially digress? We'll go to brave.com for the search. Now, they say, geez Louise, what is it? A lot of the articles coming up are saying how they're losing $40 million this year. They're saying the media rights deals, again, that's only one avenue that they make. I was about to say they make a lot of money in a lot of different ways. They make some money in some ways. About $200 million per year. But again, overall, just statistically speaking, geez, what was that? Not like a lifetime, but broke X Twitter did actually load. And I say historical losses. Let's see. It keeps saying the 200 million, which again, they do have merchandise and food. Granted, that's just usually a revenue split, the stadium for the food. But let's see here. A lot of articles are noticing the increase in attendance, especially the Caitlin Clark being on the team, where it's like 2 or 3 times more with just her being there, which is, again, another business blunder is the WNBA not putting more resource allocation and focus onto Caitlin Clark, but another topic for another time perhaps. But again, the fact that it looks like they're going to renegotiate and give them more of the company and more revenue when, again, they can't currently afford it. They're losing $40 million a year. I mean, eventually they might make a profit, but right now they're going to say, oh yeah, players are going to give you more money, more revenue share, more everything as you continue to lose millions of dollars every year. So gotta say the WNBA and this negotiation that's going to come up, gotta say that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I really appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and comment. It's a great way to give me some additional insight and feedback, letting me know how to make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.